Well, this Saturday show, and I'm excited today because I'm going to be talking about a lot of stuff, but specifically about the power of intent and my work with sound and sacred geometry. So, intent is everything, and back in the day, we used to call it intent. Now it's switched, maybe mindset and other different words that we have for it. But it's vastly more complicated to get really to optimize our health today than it was back in the 80s and the 90s. And we've been talking about that on previous shows, and so I'm excited to be here and to share this with you. So just let me make sure that things are running on Facebook, and it looks like they are. One moment. And there we go, we've got that running. Just need to make sure that it's all in the right place. Yeah, there we go. There it is. We're running live, so I'm excited for that too. So yeah, like or comment below, tell me what you want. I'm just going to type a little thing in here, hello, and tell me what you need in the comments below. So there we go. If you're on the show live, that's your opportunity to get me one-on-one. So I'm really excited by this, and part of my excitement is the drive and the dedication and the perseverance that it took me to get to where I get to. And it's been a long journey. And it started in the 80s, and actually before that, with lucid dreams when I was a kid, and etc., etc. But more of that later. So, this is for you. And what I'm going to be talking about is discovering the crucial sound healing results, which are the results that we got, and how they can, and how and why. I've got the wrong color on this font, guys. Discover crucial sound healing results and how and why I spent over a decade exploring this topic and pioneering brand new sound healing protocols and a list of intents that will help you get your mindset into gear so that you can manifest with clarity. And that's what it's really all about. It really is about this manifesting process. And sound and sacred geometry actually lend themselves to doing exactly that. So let me just pull myself out of the way here for a moment. and maybe I can just dim down my contrast a little bit and make that a little less. Yeah, that looks better. And so this environment here is, well, that shape is called a dodecahedron. And part of the manifestation process, the crystallization process of bringing it into form, are these different geometries that we see in molecules, we see in crystals, we see in universes, we see it all over the place, right? And the dodecahedron, that's a 24-karat gold-plated dodecahedron there. The dodecahedron, over years of testing, and we'll talk about that, more of that in a little bit, over years of testing, showed me that there was something very specifically different to that shape compared to circles, spheres, pyramids, cubes, tetrahedrons, icosahedrons, etc. And the reason for that is that the quality or the way that the frame organizes stuff, and that's what we're all wanting to do with our intent, is to organize or reorganize our lives into higher values. That shape has a very specific way of reorganizing and restructuring that stuff. So more on that in a little bit. So let's get on here and to the next slide. This is the Starcrest Academy of Interdimensional Law and Science that I inherited, I bought from Dr. Randall Baer back in '87. And inside here we had these different chambers, some of which I've shown before. They were sacred geometry exploration chambers that we were researching back in the day then. And up in this room there was a there was two actually 10-foot base pyramids, and over here we had actually the dodecahedron. Downstairs up there we had that one, and in the attic we had a Merkaba attraction module, which was rotating headdresses of pyramids and crystals and all of this stuff, which I was heavily into that time. I'd come out of geology, I'd come out of engineering, I'd come out of Africa by that time. And all of this stuff you can read more about in my Wellness Ninja Manifesto, which is linked right below, hopefully. So that's where we did the initial, that's where I did a lot of the work there. So this is for you if you, let me just check that I've got to the right slide. This is for you if you still feel tired even after a good night's sleep. And the reasons for that is different to what it was, a decade ago. And but if you're still feeling tired of a good night's sleep, hey, hang in here, I've got some tips for you. And it's not only just about cold thermogenesis and biting into lemons. it's a bunch of other stuff there too. So, this is also for you if you have cravings that sabotage you from making healthy decisions. And I've been going through, stuff the last couple of weeks where I've been, actually it's been more like a month now, I think, where I've been working with partial fasting. And as you probably know, I'm mostly vegetarian, etc., etc. But the partial fasting has made a huge difference to my congestions, and in particular my asthma. And so consequently, over the last couple of weeks, I've been running 24, I think it was last week, I ran 24 miles, the week before 20 miles. It hasn't gone so well this week, we have a lot of rain. And also, I fell off the wagon. So, like me, this is for you if you have cravings that sabotage you from making healthy decisions. And so it's about, changing that stuff around us. And specifically, it's about breaking that cycle, right? And so that you can initiate changes in your lifestyle and move on. And here's the emergency alert. I'm going to plug this in every episode. It's time to break these sort of cycles. It's time to break the ones that we have inside of ourselves too. And the only way to do that, unfortunately, guys, is really getting really super clear on your intent. And more on that in a moment. So it's not just about those daily greens for alkalinity or natural energy boosts. And here is actually a slide of some of our harvest from the garden last week: lemons, and bananas, and squash, and some noni just over here, just to the right of my head there, and a couple of lemons. So it's not just about that stuff. It's not even about pills, supplements, and diet or exercise dogmas anymore. And there's my partner Lindy doing a great stretch on the by the ocean there yesterday. Oh, it was so beautiful, man. Oh my God, I got some sun, I got some surfing in those waves, and oh, it was just so unbelievably magnificent over there. And really when it comes down to it, all the work we do and stuff that we do behind computers and stuff, and all of that stuff really boils down to, it's so nice just to be able to sit on the beach, or to play in the sand, and do those things that we kind of like lost contact with. And I highly recommend that be part of your goal strategy, right? And so I want to move on fast here, but this is a workshop that we did here last year. There is part of the Dreamweaver that you see in the center of the frame there. And on the floor, I've activated this whole floor so that it moves. We call it vibroacoustics or cymatics. It moves with the music. And what we were doing with the sacred geometry sound stuff was to parabolate sound waves through the body, and from vibrations that these people are feeling from the floor, or when you're lying in this device over here, you're feeling it from the mat. Let me go back to that slide up here. This one over here. You feel the music from the white mat there, and the frame around you reorganizes the energy fields around you very, very specifically, and in order to create more coherence, more balance, and more understanding what's going on in your life. And talking about the power of intent, you know, when you go into a situation and you're really clear on the outcome that you would like to achieve. I was just talking with Chris Hoffman, the gold medalist coach that I trained with the microcurrent devices. And he was saying that, you know, he's still getting, you know, his athletes back on the track 2 times faster, which is actually no big surprise to me, by using microcurrent. And it's really his clear intent and how he works with clients. And actually, he's gonna come in and share some of his tips with my coaching clients in a couple of weeks. And it's how he manages to achieve those extraordinary results with athletes who are, you know, huge, maybe overachievers, but they are huge. They have a huge ego and a mindset that they know that they can get to that place faster than anybody else, or more accurately. And it's really that same thing. It's about that intent. It's about that mindset, and about really having a clear, not only mind, but body, to really embrace all that we can achieve in this lifetime. So my intention for you is for you to look outside the box, right? Outside your comfort zone, and to discover how your life could become if you had, say, me as a coach, and so that you can achieve peak performance for your life. We're not going to, you know, this is really what it is about to me now. I'm 67, turning 67 this year. As I said, I'm pretty fit. The reason why my lifestyle is so attractive, not only to me but to others, is because at this age, you know, I can go out and I can run 5-8 miles right now. I could go run it, you know. And to have that quality of that life, to have the quality of that lifestyle, you know, living here in Hawaii, that was an intent of mine, yes, but it also happened out of synergistics. And that's what we're doing when we work with the sacred geometry. The sacred geometry organizes this waveform into the body. So let's talk a little bit more about that. So in the Starcrest Academy of Interdimensional Law and Science, I took courses with Dr. Baer before he passed, and then I evolved the work that he'd been doing to a whole new spectrum. And that became, in this first phase, these dreamweavers, these sacred geometry sound environments. And on the left there's a newborn child. I think she was like just a month or 2, and her mum. And over there is a guy, his name Ben Hadisti. So this was back in maybe the 90s. So he must be in his 30s now, maybe. Ooh, time flies, doesn't it? And he had degenerative bone issues, and so part of my job of coaching him back then was to get him onto the green juices. And lo and behold, his porous bones, they disappeared, and some of those legs, you see how twisted they were, they began to actually, literally, and if you can believe this, physically, the mother was there, she saw them straighten out as I was working on him. This is part of the subtleties of when you're working with these energies at this level, that you can get these, achieve these results. Now, to achieve these results, you need to be really clear. And so when I was training facilitators in protocols to work the Dreamweaver, for instance, we did a whole bunch of stuff. And I'll share some of those results with you in a moment. But the crucial factor for me as, the master trainer, the inventor here, was to really get the facilitators' bullshit out of the way so that they could clearly administer that session without their own stuff getting in the way. So part of the psychological, part of the intentionality was not only to take Elector scales on a scale of 1 to 10, how stressed are you, how much physical pain, emotional pain, blah, blah, that sort of stuff, but also we did a very quick psychological profiling with color charts. And basically what it means is that when you're in a yucky mood, the energy field around you is like, right? And it's yucky. And your perception of colors out from your eyes to those colors that are around you is yucked. I mean, it's like grayed out or darkened out. So one's appreciation of different colors like red and yellow and blue and green, etc., they become organized in a different way by your mood. And so we did psychological profiling with those colors in order to achieve, those readings, and to also make sure that the facilitator's own staff was not interfering or projecting into these situations with these really delicate ways that we're working with the body. And so let's go to the next slide here. So it's really about recreating your life by improving your vitality, your strength, and your wellness, or your health, right? And to do that, as I've said on previous shows, very briefly down here, we'll get to this in a moment, on the previous shows, we've gone through a lot of different things from the best tips that I've got about mitochondria, about facial secrets, about tips for children, about the history of SCADA and the microcurrent devices, RX tips for the holidays. We've gone through a lot of different topics where you can see, and this is also in conjunction with the Wellness Ninja Manifesto. And so we'll get to that in a little bit. But okay, let's move on to these results here. Okay, physical pain, and emotional pain. Now, bear in mind that these slides were done years ago, and I don't have the original, I probably do somewhere, have the original data, but basically what this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 clients that came in. And so this is actually just one-off sessions. I did other studies, and the facilitators did other studies that I'll share with you in a moment. But this is the sort of result. This person came in with a 4 pain and left much better at a 7. And this person came in with no pain, left no pain. No change on number 3, slight change from 8 to 10. And so all of these graphs, we graphed out, and that data we fed back to the clients, because it's important to have, when you're setting goals and when you're moving through to that power of intent and using it, it's really important to have goals that you can incrementally assess where you're at. And I have my little book here that, it doesn't come up, but I do it. I have my notebook here. Actually, I keep 2 notebooks now where I can really look at and I can assess and evaluate where I've moved to, how many miles I've run. Am I on my partial fasting or not? Well, it's not difficult when it comes to running, because if I'm not doing the partial fasting, then I have to use my Ventolin, or I have to use an inhaler for the asthma condition. So on the emotional pain, we had these sort of results, and the physical pain, we had these sort of results. So this was all by music, and we're going to give you a couple of examples in a moment of testimonials that people came up with. And so this was how stress changed. This person came in at a 5, left at an 8, much better. Almost, almost not 100%, 80% less stress. So in each of these situations, the stress diminished. The self-worth, their assessment of themselves, they increased, right? They were more confident, they felt more connected. And so you can imagine some of the testimonials that we got, which were absolutely extraordinary. And when I began this, years ago, we had no data other than the data that we had ongoingly. And as it built and built and built, it became an exceedingly complex picture because the music and the geometry works in all different ways. But when you have an intent, when you go into that session with a powerful intent, you're going to be able to manifest way more efficiently than if you didn't. Yeah, we did free flow sessions, and they were kind of cute, but and helpful too. But nothing like the work that could be done with working in these environments in that way. So, before I go on to the 5 uncommon energy secrets and whether they're for you, I want to jump in and let's see if I can do this right now. I need to turn that one off for a moment, and I'm going to turn this one on for a moment. And this is the page that we've been looking at on the Whoops, grab the wrong one. And I want, so this is the stress. Actually, this is another test, and you can go and check it out afterwards. Emotional pain, physical pain, life appraisal, environmental sensitivity is actually proved to be the most crucial contraindicator of using the sound therapy in this manner. Now, bear in mind, I was one of the very few, like there was only 2 of us or 3 of us at that time, that were actually courageous enough to create these environments and perambulate a lot of energy through people's, beginning with myself as a test, through our bodies. And what that did, it found its way into where the stress was in the body. It found its way into where there was, maybe mind games or disconnect emotionally. And the relief from that was absolutely extraordinary. And so I'm hoping I can see enough here to pull that up for you guys. Because there we go. There's a whole bunch of testimonials that I have in here. And let me see, which one is that? Testimonials. And maybe it doesn't do it with my... There we go. Now the testimonials you'll see here, let's get me out of the way. How do I do that? Click on that. And, here's one. The energy created by the structure, the dodecahedron, was really incredible. The musical vibrations were stimulating, but also relaxing. And my stress levels dropped from maximum to just about, nothing in the first music track. Now, this is fairly typical. You get very, very fast stress relief. I'm not going to go into the nuances of choosing music, but I'm not one of those guys that say it's got to be this. It's got to work for the client. It's what it's got to be. And there's other testimonials in here. So we were looking at physical pain reduction and emotional pain reduction. And over here we have a different classification, which I put over here. Intention. So here we go. I wish I could make this bigger for you guys, but I'm going to make it bigger for me so I can read it easier. So, after all the workshops and any work I've done, I still haven't gotten to the core issues till now. This pushed me through the last membrane of resistance I needed to push through, and I'm grateful as can be. Thank you so much, Rosemary. And this is Elizabeth. Before I entered the shape, my intention was to open up my right work, to my right work, now in my life. And when the music played, I saw myself going through a fantasy, a forest, a fairy tale landscape. I saw beautiful water cascading and was filled with great sense of profound beauty, which has always been a motivating factor in me wanting to produce art. I began to experience some experiences from my life and felt like my personality was breaking. And that's kind of like we were talking about earlier. It's time to break that cycle. You need to really become aware, and in the Ninja Manifesto, I take you through a process. This is like a workbook. It's like all the stuff that I've done and I know about and I feel really confident about sharing with you. It's in that Wellness Manifesto. It really encapsulates that 30 years of work. And it's a quick read. It's 96 pages, so it'll take you a while. But it really helps you focus on what it is that you want to create, looking at the blocks that are in the way, and moving from to create those baby steps that are going to lead you to success. And if you want me as a coach, I highly recommend you get me if you can. I've got limited availability. I like doing these shows, and I only have a very, very few selected clients. So, mind, body, and spirit alignment. The vibrations take away and brain. Stagnation stifles the heart that would sing. Movement, as in Tai Chi and dance, balances us into our truest stance. Thank you, Terry. Another guy, Betty. In the beginning, there was a resistance. Electrical energy as musical vibrated within. Now, let me explain that. When you start to, small tissues resonate with the higher notes. Longer bones, for instance, big long bones, they resonate with longer frequencies. And when you get that get that release, it's kind of like an electrical thing. It's kind of like, when you get excited and the hairs on your neck and your head start to stand up, right? Or your arms, like they are on mine right now. And so for her, it felt jagged in the beginning. And at one point, a lot of energy around her heart, down the left leg more than the right. And gradually I began to feel as one through the unit rather than different parts. And the energy flowed down the front, the back, and filled my head with an aliveness. Perhaps integrating is the word. But more on that later. Betty. So, actually that's a pretty interesting one, because once that music, once the sound waves have started the movement in the body, then you get that whole shifting and awareness and shifting from one place to another. And we did NLP exercises, we did Reiki, we did touch, we did aromas, we did all of the stuff, lights, different colors, etc., etc., as part of the environment that those lucky people back then got to share with me. Multiple sessions. Oh, this is a big one to read. The first session, I felt a lot of tension and pain in my hips and legs and back. My emotions of the past were being massaged out of my body. And so what happens in a series of sessions is that the stuff that you stumble on, the stuff that you're trying to break, that old cycle, that comes forward. Like for me, it's it's the partial fasting. I've never really owned that I had a food addiction. I've never really owned that I have, I like a little wine or beer, maybe not every night, but some nights. I've never really owned that as being an addiction. And now, I'm in my 60s, I'm going like, okay, let's see how my body and my attitude, my vibration changes because of it, right? And so we got, for her, I was then able to visualize those scenes in different ways. And by the end of the session, I was actually laughing and enjoying myself. After the first session, I went through a process of releasing a great deal of guilt and fear about making choices. And this is so typical when you start to manifest this way. It's difficult to make congruent, positive choices. And not to mention the releasing of anger, which is blocked stuff, right? It's the fear beginning to express itself. And I really started feeling great about myself, aside from others' opinions. Yeah, watch that one. Let nobody else, absolutely nobody else, influence you that way. And during the second session, I felt some more of the pain and the tension in my legs and hips and back being released. And I felt some tension in my body coming up and going away as I'm doing deep breathing. And there was some pain and tension in my chest that came up, and I saw that it was being released. And as that was, I felt incredible, with lots of peace, love, and joy. So all of this stuff is totally available to us. And that availability really is dependent on you making yourself available to it, right? And so that's what the Wellness Ninja Manifesto is about. And I'm trying to darken myself out. Somehow I got overexposed here. That doesn't seem, oops, now I'm getting underexposed. Oh gosh, guys. Enough of that one. And so let's take a look at what you can learn from the Wellness Ninja Manifesto. And so I'm just going to switch over, do a switcheroo here. And let's see if I can get back to it. There we go. And go to full screen again. Read full screen. There we go. And let's change this back to here. And take that one off. Take this one. There we go. So this is page 3, I think it is, from the Wellness Ninja Manifesto. And you can learn more about, the sacred geometry stuff that I was doing there. And I highly recommend you read it. It's really interesting reading. Although I wrote it, I can be a good writer too. So it's entertaining too, and it gives you lots of different tips that you really need to know about. And because here's the thing, as I said earlier, it's way more difficult to get healthy than it was 20 years ago. And you need to have somebody that's got knowledge around mitochondria, around music, around, setting goals, around achieving results. And if you feel that you would like to work with me, there's a link at the end of the manifesto that you can go to. So I want to go to some of the bullet points that I wrote up here, which is on page 11. Here we go. So, here we go. Sorry, guys. Here we go. A lot of people really do not understand what's going on, and it's not surprising. The indoctrination that's gone on in our society has got worse and worse and worse, and it's more and more difficult to pull people out of that indoctrination. Blue light from these LED screens. If you don't have a screensaver with cutting out the blue light on your LEDs on your phone, forget it. It's game over. You're totally brainwashed. You're totally, your circadian rhythms are completely off. There's no way that you're going to get good sleep. All of this stuff. Now I've put it in the manifesto here so that you can read about it. The other guys do not understand the power of the mitochondria beyond the classic AT model, which is like how food is made into energy, right? And there's all of these different points that I'd really like you to read and study. and discern what's going on. Because the discernment is huge. And, you know, fortunately for you, you have people like me out there that are willing to work with you. I'm not willing to work with everybody by any stretch of the imagination anymore. I really want people that have gone through the Wellness Ninja Manifesto, the truth bombs that I talk about, the electricity puts in the body, tired body. And this is, yeah, this is not just some old guy talking about. This is Nikola Tesla. You see, electricity puts in the tired body just what it most needs. The life force, the nerve force. It's a great doctor, perhaps the greatest doctor. And there's the clue. I would argue that it is the greatest of doctors. There's 100,000 electrical reactions taking place in the body at any one moment. Gosh, this is way complicated. We're talking about the mitochondria. We're talking about all of these different things. But let's go down to page 81, if I can quickly scroll that. Yes, there we go. You know, here's what it is. In here, I've got Module 4, Resource Management. How to see your health as an investment vehicle. And that's where I'm going to end on this talk. See your health as an investment. Optimizing your health is going to be a huge investment. If you can improve the quality of your life between now and when you pass, yeah. If you're not going to follow, probably, you know, how many people have cancer now? A huge percentage, right? If you're going to follow your parents and their parents and your uncles and stuff and have cancers too, that's your choice. You have a choice too, not to go that route. What it means, though, is an incredible change in your lifestyle. A complete change in your lifestyle. And so, your first asset is you must protect you from all the bullshit. The second asset is your energy. Your health and energy is king. And your nutrition, your exercise, your sleep. Now, these are new ones maybe to you. Sunlight. Forget about vitamin D supplementation. It doesn't work, guys. Sunlight does. That's why we have sun. And all the vitamin D is created in the first 1/10 of a millimeter of your skin. So if you got it out in the sun, you're going to get all the vitamin D you need. Grounding. This is an important one. We've become disconnected from the earth and the grounding energies. Thermogenesis. Oh, talking about thermogenesis, I have a great little slide for you. I mean, a great little piece for you here. I got to share this to you. Let's see if I can pull it up. Let's see now. And I hope the sound level is right. Hang on, guys. Let's see. Kicking in. That's when you've got the mitochondria working really efficiently. It always takes a lot of courage to get under this water here, so whew. Okay, stand to one side, right? And I got my foot in it a little bit. I've also soaked up my palm, and I take a deep breath, and I step into it. It's like that lemon juice. I don't know if you've seen the lemon juice video I've done. My system was fatigued, and it wasn't as clean and as clear. And this morning, going through this sort of real cold spell, and then finally falling asleep in the big sleeping bag around me, and it was like, wow, and I could hear the rain on the roof a little bit, and I felt really kind of depressed. And I realized I have an alternative, and I have a really quick fix. And I need to remind myself of this, to just like, when I get into this draw state, I just get into that cold shower. So cold thermogenesis, it's all about this. It's all about, all that I've been really saying here is all about your mitochondrial health. When you maximize your mitochondrial health, most of the diseases and the issues that you have going on are going to disappear literally over them. So there we got it. Those diseases will disappear. Now, there are so many tips that I've got to share with you that it becomes a little confusing to do it in a half-hour show. In fact, you know, when you come into coaching with me, it's a year-long process. And that way I take you through incrementally. I'm not expecting you to get into an ice cold shower right away. No, forget it. I'm not expecting your body to be acclimatized to being out in the sun. No, forget it. I'm not expecting you to have vast knowledge on how to set your goals and moving through them and what to look for and all the measuring that we do to keep you on track. No, that's all something I've got worked out for you and you can enjoy it. It's really about your intent and your desire to optimize your health. So my question to you then is, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is that for you? Huh? You know, it's like, what does that mean to you, to optimize your health? To me, it means that last year, like, I got super sick overnight with shingles. I went down to 128 pounds over the next 3 months. It was a huge awakening for me. And spent a lot of time understanding some of this other stuff because I was missing these components like grounding, cold showers, partial fasting, etc. I was missing them from my life. And now I can say they make a huge difference to my life. And it will do for you too. So back to the presentation, or back to where I was going to take this. Excuse me for folks. There we go. Go back to that one briefly. I wish then, there we go, full screen, Control L, and we're not looking at actually at that slide anymore. But we are looking at this manifesto. There is so much information for you in this manifesto. I spared no, you know, I took a lot of time, months actually, writing this together and getting all my thoughts. I'm not a quick writer when it comes to writing this sort of detailed stuff. But the shocking, hiding in plain sight, truth bombs that are the foundations to understand if you really care about your health and longevity. How to maximize your mitochondrial health with microcurrent. Totally new topic. I don't know of anybody else on the planet who's clued into this. You know, they're all talking about doing it with PEMF. It doesn't do it. It's not, guys, magnetic forces are not as strong as electrical forces. Electrical forces are like male lightning. Magnetic forces are embracing and holding. They have a different quality to them. But to get directly to recharging this mitochondria, to recharging your cell membranes, it's the microcurrent. And, you know, microcurrent is an endless supply of antioxidants for the price of a battery. So, grab the Wellness Manifesto. There's a link below this video. It would be great to have you on board there, take it through, and if, you know, if getting me as a coach, if that's something that you're inspired to do, there's a link, and then we can, and then we have like a screening process, and then once you've completed that, then you'll come and I'll give you a one-on-one session, and we'll see how we can make this a fit for you. It's not inexpensive, but let's face it, improving the quality of your life day by day by being able to manage your health from home is a huge asset that really is hard to put a price on. For instance, what if you didn't have to go in and have a valve replaced on your heart because you stuck with that old diet regime? What if you could change your life so that you could change and be inspired to eat healthy. Right? It's huge. It's huge. No more aches, no more pains, lots of energy. You can get more done. You can live those remaining years of your life to the fullest. So that's what I'm inviting you to. So I'm going to finish up here. We went through the different ones there. Anywhere through this whole presentation, if you want to read this stuff, just freeze frame the video and you can read it, okay? So I'm going to finish off with a ukulele sung by Pua Kieli by Josh Tatofi. And I think I'm still in tune. And from a rainy Hawaii. It's been raining this last week. Boy, I wasn't sure if I'd have enough bandwidth to do it, but it certainly looks like we do now. So here we go. Aloha, and it's been a pleasure bringing this to you. My Wellness Saturday shows are at 12 noon Pacific. I'm going to be slowing them down, probably two a month, maybe 3 a month, but 2 a month for sure. It's just taking too much, and I've said a whole bunch of stuff, as I showed you. There's a whole bunch of episodes that you can learn from and work with. So here we go. Ala mai kapua ilala. Ola no kaina ikahua. Ikupua kiele nanie. Koalo no emapune. Ekua hoe no ahialuna. Eva eva na kapumai. Ekupua kiele nanine. Henane lua ole olihine. Hepa pagahe kamakani kaunoa kuikuipoe lenoa kioloha. Mohala mai kapua ikala. Ola no kaina ikaua. Ekopopua kiele nanie. Koala no emapune. Ekua oe no ialuna. Negiba kana po kabuai. Ekupua kiele nanine. Henane lua ole olehine. Ekapa ahehe kamakani kamahua. Ekuipoe leno ahiko aloha. Eko ipo e le no iko aloha. I always get such a rush of saying that and singing that piece. It's such a beautiful song, and it's been a pleasure bringing this to you today. Episode 15, The Power of Intent. And by combining sound and sacred geometry, we got a whole new spectrum of results that people just don't want to know about. Unless you really want to, and you're really clear on the health that you want to optimize to. Aloha, have a great week, comment below, and etc. etc. Be talking with you soon. Aloha.